Hi, Clay. Welcome. And I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you, Angie. I'm glad to be here.
So, tell us a little bit about your experience with AI and what brought you to the field, and just a little bit about you.
Well, I'll start with a little bit about me. I'm my background's in accounting and operations, but I got into real estate about 20 years ago, and so the bulk of my career has been in real estate. The most recent kind of venture is in a title company, which is where I started getting curious about AI. In 2022, I went to a conference, and two of the presenters, separately presented different aspects of AI, and it piqued my curiosity. And so for the last, I mean, it probably took me a year after that to really engage. So for the last 2 years, I've just taken a deep dive into figuring out, how can we in our industry and in our businesses use AI to make our lives easier. I mean, I'm
Right.
always been about trying to make my life easier. I sort of kind of would describe myself as a little bit lazy, but committed to doing the job right. And the combination of the two results in me wanting to find the shortcuts that get me there the fastest. And so I've spent
Definitely not lazy.
it's
Definitely
probably
not.
not a it's probably not a fully accurate description, but I do like to find the most efficient path to the best answer. And so AI has definitely given us that opportunity. It's also sparked my creativity in a way I didn't expect because it's such a great creative tool. It makes me then want to well, what can I do more with this? What can I create more? What can I do that is just cool and fun? And I don't know. I've just been having a blast with it. And so, I've one of the reasons I shared my background being in accounting and operations is that when I first started my career as a small business owner, I didn't invest a lot or really anything at all in sales and marketing because I thought if you did a good job, people would just show up. And it
Right.
took me years to figure out that's not true. And the reason I share that is a big way that I'm using AI is in business development, sales, and content creation.
And so we met through a wonderful group with Jonathan Mast, and then I even think one of the classes that we took with him was like developing your own Facebook group. And so, do you
Yes.
want to talk a little bit about that and
Oh
your
yeah, that's been really
experience?
fun. So that is where we met. We took that class and I sat on it for a little while, and then for whatever reason, I can't remember doing this on this day, but it was December 25th. So on Christmas Day, I got the wild hair to go ahead and start my Facebook group, and that was in 2024, so this past year. And it's been a lot of fun. It's, the group is directed at what I describe as AI curious real estate professionals, but we also talk small business. And what's been really fun for me, so I'm a small town guy. I grew up in Tallahassee, Florida. The bulk of my married life has been here in Ocala, Florida, very small town, very kind of, I've traveled a little, but where
Right.
I'm going with this is we have members in the group from all over the world, which has just been so cool. We have people from South Africa, Australia, UK, just everywhere. And that's been a really neat experience to connect with people and to sort of see the similarities in our challenges and how we're able to address them and whatever. But so yeah, the Facebook group's been a lot of fun.
And then I think what is really amazing is that, even for users like me who I'm not in real estate, but there's always something that I can learn from others. And I think
Absolutely.
that's what's so powerful. And so one of the things that I know that we have in common is talking about like content creation. And so
Mhm.
do you want to tell us a little bit about your process and how that looks for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, um, I start, so I have some tools that help me with my content creation, but it really all starts with just thinking about what I'm dealing with, going through, etc. So one of the things I've learned though is I can't rely on a creative spark every day. So I try to create, spreadsheets. I'm, kind of a spreadsheet guy. So I'll have spreadsheets of potential content ideas. And I rely on those when I don't have that creative spark. But when I do, what I like to do is go into, so I have a Claude project that I built that I call it just, very original, Clay's Content Creator. Wow. But it's
Uh-huh.
built with my voice, and it also has some knowledge documents around best practices for platforms and blog writing and things of that nature. But so here's an important distinction. There's a big debate that we see frequently about authenticity when using AI. And I think there's a right way to use AI and a wrong way to use AI. And in my mind, the wrong way and maybe wrong's not the right term because it depends on what you're using it for. So if you just want a somewhat generic but well-written article, then you can just say to it, "Hey, I want an article about the struggles first-time home buyers face with affordability these days." And it'll write you a nice article. But if what you're trying to do is authentically connect with your audience that doesn't have enough of your voice in it, so what I do when I sit down to write an article like that with using AI is I start with the premise, similar to what I just described, okay, I want to talk about affordability crisis for first-time home buyers. But then I write as much as I can in my voice of what I want to say. But what makes it so great to do it with AI is I don't have to worry about my grammar, my spelling, my structure. I can just have a stream of consciousness. And then what that does by me providing more of the upfront context, color, and data is that it writes it in my voice even more like so it does a good job with what I've trained it to do, but that makes it even more authentically me. The other thing I do is when it's done, and this may surprise a lot of people, is I read it. Okay. And so I
I mean,
read it,
always helpful, right?
I read it and then make revisions because as great as, and I'm a huge advocate and lover of my AI tools, left to their own devices, they can get a little wonky. And so I read over it and I tweak it. And all of that takes me maybe 5 minutes. I mean, it really isn't a much longer process than doing it just the drop in the terms or whatever. So I start there and then I take that um, the long form content and then I have another what I call a content repurposer in chat that I drop my long form content into, and then it breaks it into suggested social media posts with image prompts, calls to action, and it's in the way that I had that repurposer trained is that it formats appropriate for the platform. So like my Facebook posts have more emojis than my LinkedIn posts and things of
Right.
that nature. And so then I take those and I schedule what I can. So like I use Go High Level's content scheduler because I am a big believer in batching as much of this stuff as possible. And
Right.
only because I've learned the hard way that if I say, "Oh, I'll just do it the day of," no, I won't.
Probably not going to happen. Yeah.
It's not going to happen. And so I batch it and get it scheduled where I can. And the reason I say that is there's some platforms like my personal Facebook post, you can't schedule through Go High Level. What I can't go ahead and schedule, I have in a spreadsheet so that the day that I come in to make a post, everything's there for me to just copy and paste it in. And it has really transformed my business. I again learned from Jonathan, the guy that we both have taken his stuff and where we met about his creating yourself as the go-to authority by using long form content supported by short form content and posting consistently. It was he said you do that for 6 months to a year and it'll transform your business. And it took about 90 days to even feel like anything was happening.
Right.
Like
So when you first started out, I mean, I don't know, this was for me. I felt like I was speaking to the void. I'm like,
you
there's
took the
no
words
one
out of my
reading
mouth.
this. What is happening? But I think by creating that group and then slowly making those connections with different people, then they are coming in and I'm feeling that too now. It's like, okay, I have some connections that are actually paying attention to what I'm saying.
No, you nailed it. It was definitely screaming into the void. I would see, oh, I got a like on my post, and then I would go look and go, oh, thanks, mom.
Right.
It's So, but it did it, and this was the expectation set by Jonathan, and then really anybody you listen to on this topic. I mean, and Jonathan credits Gary Vee for getting him started on this path. Gary Vee says the same thing. You know, it's more of a hockey stick than it is a straight line up, meaning you're going to flatline at the bottom for a while, and then you start to get traction, and then all of a sudden it feels like it kind of explodes. But it requires, doing it consistently, which can be really tough when you're not getting engagement. And I mean, I
Right.
still, and I've got a long way to go, but I still will have days where I'm like, bro, this content is so good. People are going to love it. And then I post it and it's crickets. And I mean, a lot of it though is the algorithms are challenging and you just got to keep showing up.
Right. So in thinking about showing up, you're going to offer a special that is how people can utilize content and show up authentically. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your workshop?
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate that. So on Wednesday, August 13th, I'm leading a workshop called Winning the Content Game with AI. You can think of it as the easy button for social media, primarily for real estate professionals. I'll be giving away some tools. So I like I live by the teach a man to fish,
Right.
philosophy. I will be giving away tools, but I'm also going to be providing the underlying psychology and like why, how do people select the agents they work with, and then how does social media and content creation support that. And yeah, I'm really excited about it because I've lived the difference it can make. And I also have lived all of the objections. And so one of my goals in the way I'm structuring the workshop is to sort of tear down people's objections one by one. I don't think there's anybody that doesn't understand the value of social media. I think the issue is I don't have time is the number one objection. And so with what I'm teaching, you make an upfront 90-ish minute investment in kind of setting things up. And then from that point forward, it will take you 30 minutes or less to set up your social media for you can do it weekly, monthly, but you can do it in much, 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 much less time. That's the first objection. The second objection, which always makes me laugh, is I don't know what to talk about. And the reason it makes me laugh is that I'm dealing with real estate professionals, and I feel like you can't turn on the TV anymore without seeing a reality show based around real estate. So that should tell you that people are fascinated by real estate, and that's what you
Right.
do. And so we're going to set them up with that objection's gone because I'm going to give them a calendar, basically a laid out, here are the topics to talk about. But what's great about that is it's not generic. You can go anywhere and say, hey, I deal with first-time home buyers and get a generic list. This is all going to be based on your specific scenarios. And so it's customized to you. So that's the second objection. Um, the third objection being, I don't know where to post. Well, part of what our tools are going to do is tell you that where you need to post is where your people are. And so the tool is going to help you find where are your people. And then, so we're just going to go through and try to tear down all the objections, equip people. And then one of the things that, it's really important to me that people are successful with what I'm teaching and giving them. And I've kind of learned that it can be a lot to take in the class, and then you get the tools, and then you start playing with it and you go, what did he say about this?
Right.
So what I want to do for that is we're going to have our workshop, and then a week or so later schedule a bonus kind of ask me anything session so that you've had time to mess with the tools and can come in with what are you struggling with? How can I help you be successful? So, and like I said, that's Wednesday the 13th. And, uh, you know, uh, everybody's going to get the replay, the tools. Like, so if you can't attend live, you still will get the replay and all the tools and then access to that bonus session. And then the replays will be available afterwards. But, signing up beforehand, the cost is $47. And I know it's easy for me to say this, but for what we're doing, it is definitely a bargain. I mean, the two GPTs that we're going to be giving away are very, like, tremendous. I'm so stoked with how they turned out. I cannot wait to share them. And they're literally, they're the tools that I use. I tweaked them some because mine are built for me, but they're the tools that I use to build my social media content. And I've had really great success over the last 90 days. My engagement's up like 1000%. And when I saw that number, it blew my mind, but I mean, I can feel it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And then ultimately what we're doing is bringing in clients from all of that. So that's
Exactly.
awesome.
I mean, that's the end goal.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on today, Clay, and I so appreciate all of the knowledge that you share. I will put in the link a link to join your free Facebook group as well as the workshop. So thanks
That'd
for
be
coming on.
awesome.
All
Thanks,
right.
Angie. Thanks for
Okay.
having me.